Hello, everybody. So today we are talking about Paige Renkoski. Apologies if I said her name wrong. Um, I hope I don't do that. When I was doing my research, I kept pronouncing it wrong. I kept typing it wrong, so hopefully I have it correct. This case is odd, to say the least. Um, the details in it are disturbing, weird, confusing, and I want to talk about it. So all the links I used for research will be down below. I also have a link to my other podcast, Sinister, if you'd like to go check that out. And yeah, like I said today, we're talking about Paige Renkoski. So, 30-year-old Paige was a substitute school teacher who was living in Okemos, Michigan. She is described as a hardworking and fun-loving woman. In 1990, she was engaged to a man named Steve, oh gosh, I might pronounce his name wrong, Steve Debrabander, and the couple lived in Lansing, Michigan. She was working as a preschool aide/substitute while she pursued a degree in early childhood development. On the morning of May 24th, 1990, Paige offered to take her mom to Detroit Metro Airport so that her mom could visit Paige's sister, Michelle, in Georgia. The airport was about an hour and a half from her Lansing home. Michelle says after dropping off her mom, Paige planned to meet a friend at a park in Canton. Paige stopped at a gas station store and then was headed back to her fiance's softball game. While 30 minutes away from Lansing, Paige pulled her car off the side of the road on I-96. There was no damage to the car at all, so it's really confusing and unclear as to why she even stopped. A passerby had seen Paige outside her car with a man and a maroon minivan around 3:30 a.m. Or I'm sorry, 3:30 p.m. I don't know why I said a.m. And this is a quote from investigator Robert Getzoham. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong. And he says, "We've got about 1,000 tips on this case. There were various iterations. There were some calls that had come up around 3 p.m. on the 24th about the vehicle on the side of the road. So a deputy was sent out there. He got the vehicle towed, thinking there was no reason to be concerned, but that it was a little odd that the car was running with her purse inside." End quote. And I will have photos of the inside of her vehicle, what her vehicle looked like, and I believe there's also a photo of the minivan available. I could be wrong, but I will have photos of the inside of her car. There was no evidence to be collected at the time, and uh, this scene was not originally processed as a crime scene. The deputy took the keys and found contact information in the purse, so they left a voicemail message. The family says that they can't understand uh, why the scene wasn't processed before the car was towed, since her shoes and her purse were still inside the car and the car was running. And you can even see in one of the photos, you can see her shoes on the driver's side. And it's just so weird. Like, if I was a police officer and I came across a car that was still running with someone's purse and shoes inside, I would attempt, and they're on the side of the road, I would attempt to maybe, if there's like a wooded area nearby, to see if that person is nearby, if they're hurt, if they need help. Like, I would probably stay and maybe look around or something. I would not immediately just like leave a message and then have the car towed. To me, that's just weird. The police ran the tags and found the car belonged to Paige, so they called, they left the message, but because Paige's mom was away, the voicemail went unheard for a couple of days. Michelle and their mom grew concerned that they hadn't heard from Paige, so they called Steve and they had him go check for messages at the mom's home. That's when they learned about the car, and it came as a complete shock, and they realized that she was missing. On Friday, Steve met with the police, and on Saturday, it was finally processed as a crime scene. It's believed that Paige vanished around 4 p.m. on May 24th, 1990, shortly after people remembered seeing her. And a quote from Detective Mike Freyer. He says, "We've got a general idea of where the scene was, but we're not exactly sure. They didn't photograph the scene or do a crime scene sketch because at the time it was An abandoned car, and that's how it was treated, end quote. An abandoned car that was running with personal items still inside. Kind of weird. I would not consider that completely abandoned. Several fingerprints were found on the car, but they were unable to determine who they belonged to. Family told the police that she may have been having problems with Steve, but it's not believed she chose to voluntarily leave the area for that reason, and Steve has been ruled out as a suspect. She had recently deposited a large sum of money in her bank account, which was untouched when she disappeared, and she did not have travel plans. So, 3 unsolved abductions/murders of young women occurred in the 1980s in the general area where she vanished. At the time she went missing, there were multiple incidents of people impersonating police officers and showing fake badges to motorists to get them to stop. Her case was reopened in the late 1990s, and an unidentified inmate was named a suspect until he eventually passed a lie detector test and was ruled out. Foul play is suspected in her case. So it's with the whole people impersonating police officers and all that. It's basically a theory that could have been something that happened. Otherwise, I don't really understand why she would have pulled over. There was nothing wrong with the car, and it was really the only thing that could make sense. But that is all I have for you on Paige. I'm so sorry. I do not want to pronounce her name wrong. Paige Renkoski. I do have some phone numbers. The Livingston Sheriff's Department is 517-546-2440. Again, that is 517-546-2440. The Michigan State Police Department's phone number is 810-227-1149. Again, that is 810-227-1149. Unfortunately, I think that she might have met foul play. I feel like maybe someone was impersonating a police officer. Maybe that's how they got her to stop. It's just kind of weird that it happened on the side of a highway. I don't know. It's just the only thing that really makes sense. I don't see her just stopping the car and just wandering off. She was seen talking to someone, and that's kind of why I feel the way I do. But there were also those weird abductions and murders that maybe that was connected to the whole fake police thing. I'm not sure. That's just kind of where my theories go. But let me know what you think about this down below. Do you think she was abducted? Do you think she willingly left? Let me know your theories down below. Thank you so much for listening to Paige's story, and I will see you guys very soon. Bye, guys.